when we compare NATO soldiers, for example, they fight for the salary, and it's like how you say it, mercenary.
Yeah, mercenary.
Mercenary is like, it's almost the status of soldiers in the NATO, not
Yeah.
mercenary. You have a salary, and so you're in the NATO, because very easy. NATO has almost no wars, and if there is a NATO war, for example, I was in Serbia, it is from very high in the sky, very easy, and there is no risk that somebody will be killed. So in fact, very brave, you understand me? And on the other side, so this is, let's say, neutral, and these mercenaries, when there is a big conflict, they run away. Some run away because they want to kill for money, they don't want to die for money. But on the other side, in Syria, we see in effect two other energies who are fighting each other. I see that the people who are fighting for Syria, and with Assad as president,
Yes.
they fight for the land with love, and love is a very big energy, a great energy.
Exactly.
On the other side, they fight with hate. And I'm sorry to say it, but hate is also a very big energy.
It's a powerful.
So this means that this war can be long term, still
Yes.
for a long time. Yeah?
I will mention two things here. The same thing you mentioned about the NATO soldiers, you can apply it on the anti-government forces in Syria, because they are having the salary of $300 to $400 per month from the United States, from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, and $300 to $400 in Syria. It's a very good salary. That means you can live your family in a very good, decent life.
Yeah.
Syrian Army soldiers, they have a salary of $50 per month. And if you compare the food they have, the Syrian Army soldiers, one potato and one bread to fight against ISIS, and the kebabs and the burgers that the Americans send them to Idlib and to northern Syria, you understand the difference between the both sides. So as you mentioned, the side that is fighting with the government, they are fighting for the love of Syria. They love this soil, they love this country, they want to restore what they had in Syria, and the hate towards the other side who wants to eliminate the other. The other is, if the other side, if the Takfiris want to eliminate the others, meaning they want to eliminate anybody that is against their Wahhabi ideology. And by doing so, they assassinated and they killed many Sunni Muslims in Syria. They were the majority who died in Syria. It's true that those fighters against the government they claim to be Sunnis, but in the ideology of Wahhabism. On the other side, with the government, those who are fighting, who are also Sunnis and different other religions and minorities, they represent the Sufi and the Damascene Islam, which is the moderate Islam, which respects and loves all other religions and sects. They don't discriminate against you. This is why this side will win. As much as billions of dollars, if you spend it on Syria, at the end, determination overcomes mercenaries. Mercenaries, they don't want to die, as you said, for money. They might kill you, they might slaughter you, but at the end, they don't love this country. I know people from Syria, unfortunately, they were friends with me in the university. And imagine that Turkey gives them the best cameras, the best technologies in order to document and work in journalism, and then they get these equipments, they escape to Turkey in illegal ways, they sell this equipment, and they pay for somebody to take him to Germany or to Belgium, to other countries, and they come here as refugees later on. So you cannot count on these people. The Americans know it. They cannot count on their proxies in Syria. This is why they intervene directly now in Qamishli, in Hasake, and now in southeast Syria. They know their proxies are cowards. They will run away in the first fight against the Syrian army and the allies.
And they come to Europe.
Some of them. A lot of them. I've met a lot of former rebels and al-Nusra fighters in Germany, and they are outspoken, and they say we were fighting, we were doing this and that.
Because now we see more and more. Yesterday there was this guy in London with a car who crushed a lot of people. And I'm sorry, that's my post on Facebook. I post, we will again make some pictures on the floor, again crying, again candles, and again soft speeches, solidarity, and again this sorry for the word, this bullshit. I'm sorry for the word. I don't have something else. And sometimes will the West never learn, or is there a plan behind it, all this?
In my opinion, the Western governments know what they did in Syria will have repercussions in Europe, but they will not be affected. They are living in their luxuries, in their palaces. No terrorist will arrive in their apartments. No terrorist will kill them. At the end,
But
those
they
people,
can do it.
They?
Our ministers are almost not protected.
Yeah, they might.
If a guy want to kill the first minister, the premier, he can do it. They have almost no bodyguards.
Look, for them, all these ministers, they serve corporations at the end in the military corporations in these countries. Without this backing from these military corporations or the deep states, they will not be in their positions, and they have no choice but to support these people in Syria. For them, now what's happening in Europe is collateral damage. How many people for them would die per year? 200, 300 for, let's say, Europeans. Add three zeros next to the 200 in Syria or Iraq. So for them, they are gaining huge amount of geopolitical weight and influence in the Middle East. They will have gas fields. They will have a rebuilding of Syria. It will cost $200 billion. Who will rebuild this? If the Europeans gained the war in Syria, that means they will have the portion of this rebuilding process. So for them, it's a bet.
You know what you say is very cruel, because you say these 200-300 people in Europe every year. This is a price to pay for European contracts with the Middle East. Yes.
Exactly.
And our leaders, they know it. You think they know this?
Leaders, of course.
Our European leaders, they know this.
Of course, they took the quarter of the French. France took quarter of the Libyan oil from Benghazi. For now, Libya is three different two governments divided into three states. Islamic State, ISIS, is in Iraq, and there are thousands of Libyans are trying to come to Italy, and these NGOs are helping them to arrive to Europe, and then a lot of radicals will arrive and do bombings.
Okay, but this means that it's not a political sentence what I say now, but from a human. I have children. It means if one day there is a bomb on the wrong place, my child or me, my child can be killed.
Do you think they care about you
and,
or
and
about our children?
If the Prime Minister is say on TV, "Oh, it's horrible," we have to insult this guy. There's a minimum, because you are guilty.
Yes, of
you
course.
know it.
Of course, they knew it, they grew it in Syria. Even the Americans in 2012, when their Defense Intelligence Agency told Obama administration that guys, the people fighting against Assad are Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood, and at that time they said, support these guys, and they helped these guys in Syria to grow, and then there was ISIS. So this is all an accumulation of policies of the United States, and unfortunately the Europeans follow the Americans in this. I always ask myself, why the European Union is imposing sanctions on Syria? Why do they support these jihadists with millions of dollars per year? Why do they send them weapons? Aren't these people against the Western values and against Western civilization? We share a lot in Syria with the Western, who is fighting against ISIS and the Nusra in Syria. We share many values with the Europeans, comparing to the other side. Why don't they support us? For them, because President Assad represents a political system that will stay and will continue to stay an obstacle to the absolute hegemony of Israel in the Middle East and the American hegemony in the Middle East. And this is why President Assad has been fought